So today we have some really awesome news from Temuera Morrison, but first of all, a new banner for the Ahsoka series has appeared on the official show's Twitter page, Ahsoka with the 2 white lightsabers looking directly at us, and in a new poster released on Tuesday, she is in the same lightsaber stance that we saw Anakin in most of the promotional material for episode 3 back in 2005, and that makes me so excited that there are going to be lots of prequel callbacks. This show could not get here soon enough. And Rosario Dawson recently gave a really interesting interview with CBR.com. She describes how excited she is for fans to see the Ahsoka show when it drops next month, but there was one question that really fascinated me. She was asked if there's a Star Wars character she would want to meet in the Star Wars universe that a character's not had a chance to interact with just yet, and she answered Cassian Andor. Even though he's dead by this stage, she says she probably would have known him because of the rebellion. They both held the Fulcrum title, and when talking about which 2 characters she wants to see reunite, she says Ahsoka and Rex. She mentions how the physical training she did for Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka gave her more muscles to do Haunted Mansion, but she says both were interconnected in terms of the work she put in. She went from one to the other, but she does credit the Ahsoka stunt double for doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And then she reacts to Star Wars fans' reactions to the Ahsoka trailer that just released. Rosario says, "It's been unbelievable, it's been really cool, just 39 days to go, and so now on to 10. A week ago, Temuera Morrison was here in London for London Film and Comic Con, and I did cover a couple of tidbits from that event, notably the fact Temuera Morrison says he loved playing Jango Fett and even preferred it to playing Boba, but he loves playing both characters, and I would love to see him as Commander Cody if they ever do a Kenobi Season 2, and next month Captain Rex and Ahsoka. But we also expect to see him in The Mandalorian Season 4, returning as Boba Fett. I don't think there's going to be a Book of Boba Fett Season 2, so I think Mandalorian is where it's going to be. And despite having played clones in the Order 66 flashbacks in Season 3, Tem spoke out about not being Boba Fett in that season, but it seems by all accounts he's going to return. And now, on Instagram, Bounty Helmets have shared an exclusive clip where they ask him what's he going to do next, and it turns out on his way home to New Zealand, he's going to visit Los Angeles in order to speak with Jon Favreau about what's next for Boba and Mando. What is that meeting going to be about? Could it be a rumoured Season 2 of Boba Fett, since filming on Ahsoka's already done? He's also asked about Omega. He rarely addresses the fact that Boba Fett has a sister. Let's watch the clip together and react. So as I say, credit to Bounty_Helmets. This is what they recorded, and we'll break it down.
Another man with such a luscious voice and a wonderful face would play Captain Rex, another beloved character.
I'd actually love to bring President Rex alive. I think there's a few things happening in LA. I'm hoping to pop to LA on the way home.
Okay.
To New Zealand.
Okay.
Just and have a catch up and see what's happening.
Okay.
See what's happening in the galaxy.
See if maybe we get a little bit of news about Season 2 Boba Fett, 'cause I know a lot of people are looking for a lot of different things. Maybe
Yes.
we'll get to see Omega in the next season as well.
Yeah. Well, this is why I was going to pop in and just see what's going on.
Gotcha.
And make sure they're not going to put me on a shelf.
He's an absolute gem. I find it really interesting he doesn't specifically address the Omega question. I know he's met with Michelle Ang tons of times. The 2 are good friends, New Zealand actors, and obviously he's not gonna spill any beans. It's why he's very hesitant to say what the meeting in LA is gonna be about. So we assume it's gonna be for something Star Wars. He literally says he doesn't want to be put on a shelf. So just like the first time he was brought into Mando in Season 2, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau called him over. He spoke about this at Star Wars Celebration in 2022. He talked about the traffic situation and how he was in a hurry to go and rush over to meet them. He was so excited, and he saw the concept art on the walls, and he says, "That man looks like me." There's been Boba Fett talk for years at Lucasfilm, even before the Book of Boba Fett. There was going to be the James Mangold film that was R-rated, and even before Mando, even before Disney+, Tem was keeping the Jango and Boba Fett legacy alive at conventions, fan clubs, Mandalorian groups. He voiced the characters in video games as well, but I think the way he returned in Chapter 9 The Mandalorian on screen was absolutely epic. They teased him in Season 1, of course, the person who came to rescue Fennec Shand, but the way he appeared in Chapter 9 and then again in Chapter 14, him taking out those stormtroopers, he was badass. Tem's energy as Boba Fett was perfect, and even though I would say I'm a bigger fan of The Mandalorian Season 2 than the Book of Boba Fett, the latter has grown on me. It's a fun show with some incredible moments, especially in Episode 6. And every time he's been at conventions, and I know a few people in my personal life who've met him and asked him these questions. He loved working with Ming-Na Wen, he loved working with Robert Rodriguez. He's still a badass character. Book of Boba Fett has its flaws, and I'm hopeful for season 4 of Mando. So that might be what he's going over to talk about. Again, probably some concept art that's been drawn up. We know that by May of 2022, Jon Favreau already started writing season 4. The only problem now is that even though there are scripts written, or we presume there are, the writer's strikes are really going to affect production on the 4th season. So let's wait and see. But I do find it fascinating the wording he doesn't want to be put on a shelf. He didn't want Book of Boba Fett to be one and done. He's a passionate man and he loves Star Wars just like we all do. And he's humble, he's got a great sense of humour. I really think he deserves more story. I want to see some more crime syndicates. When we found out about the game Star Wars Outlaws, I was so hopeful that was going to be an opportunity to see Boba Fett during this time period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, just like in War of the Bounty Hunters, the same time period. And we probably will because we see Han Solo in Carbonite, pulling up to Jabba's palace, coming out the Slave One. Let's see what else he says.
There's plenty of time to be put on the shelf, right? Yeah.
Who puts diamonds on a shelf, huh? Who puts a gem like this on a shelf? You shouldn't have.
I like that.
You like that, right? I tried to. Live from London Film Comic-Con, I'm Jay Stashin here with Temuera Morrison.
Shout out to Jay, shout out to Bounty Helmets. And on the Omega situation, I do think there's a great opportunity maybe in the Ahsoka show. Mary Elizabeth Winstead talked about the Bad Batch being important, but she may have just meant young Hera Syndulla. They're going to finish the Bad Batch first though before we ever see Omega in live action. They're going to do Bad Batch season 3 next year, and then, fingers crossed she comes into it. I really have no idea at this stage what Omega's going to be by the time of the New Republic. I presume she's going to live. It'd be crazy if they killed her off in the Bad Batch, because in my mind she's been set up a bit like Grogu to be a big part of the future of Star Wars. You know, there's a good chance she becomes a bounty hunter, just like her father Jango and her brother Boba. Or maybe she lives a life on the run. Or maybe she goes into hiding. Maybe she becomes an advocate for surviving clones. Maybe Rex and Wolf know her. We didn't see her in Star Wars Rebels though, that's the only thing that puts like a hole in this theory. But that'd be great if she were to appear in Ahsoka. If they do that, who knows? I don't know, I really want more Tem, whichever clone he plays. He's got an incredible energy that he brings to Star Wars. His own culture, and who doesn't love Boba Fett in all of his iterations? But what do you guys think? And just before I go, Bob Iger's contract has been extended through to 2026. What does this mean for Star Wars? Well, I covered everything in yesterday's video regarding what he recently said about Marvel and Star Wars content going forward. But as for contracts, this could also mean Kathleen Kennedy's contract is extended too. She'll step down eventually, I think, but I don't think she's going to be fired. I reckon her contract's going to be extended as well. Let's wait and see what happens. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and why not consider supporting me over on Patreon? The link is down there in the description. See you in the next one. May the Force be with you, always.